Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I got another video for you guys that's related to US politics and elections. So today I'll be doing something a bit different. I'll be going back in time to 2016 and looking at the 2016 polls versus results. So there's someone in my comment section for one of my other videos who said, yeah, you should do an examination analysis of polls versus actual results. So I think that's a great idea. That's what I'm going to be doing. If you enjoy this type of content, drop a like, comment, and make sure to subscribe. So right off the bat, we'll go first with the popular vote. So everybody knows very well that Hillary Clinton actually ended up winning the popular vote by about almost 3 million votes in 2016. So it's 48.5% to 46.4%, which is a pretty big jump. That's a pretty big margin. You'd expect that Clinton would win in the Electoral College as well, but that wasn't the case. So if we look at the national map, we're just going to go over some of these states. Let's first pause that and we'll go and look at the actual polls and chances of winning. So this was the expected results. This is what people expected to happen during the 2016 election. Does this sound crazy? Florida would have gone Democrat. Could you even imagine that happening now? Pennsylvania went Democrat. North Carolina was expected to go Democrat. Michigan, Wisconsin. These are big swing states now. So this was pretty different from what actually happened. And I'll be explaining why there's really one main reason. Well, actually, there's not one main reason. There's many main reasons, but I'll just be analyzing which states actually flipped from the original predictions and why it happened. So first we will go with which one do we do? Florida. So Florida, if we look at it over here, yeah, right here, Florida went to Republicans. It's a pretty close one. It was 100,000 votes, a bit more than 100,000. It was 1.2% difference between Trump and Clinton, but that's 29 electoral votes. Could you imagine? If this 29 had gone to Clinton, that could have changed. It wouldn't have changed the entire result, but it would have changed the actual way that the election was going. So that could have been a pretty big blow to Republicans, because now we know that Florida is extremely Republican and it's hard red. So it's not going to go blue, at least likely. So again, here we see chance of winning for Clinton was 55.1% to 44.9%. So that's a pretty stark contrast to this right here that we had 49% to 47.8%. So clearly the polls were off for Florida. Next up, we can go with North Carolina, which I believe Trump won. I think Trump won North Carolina. Yeah, right here, North Carolina again. Oh. So Trump won North Carolina. Keep pressing this. Trump won North Carolina. It was not as close as people expected. It was 200,000 votes, which is a bit of a larger margin than Florida was. But still, again, that's a pretty big deal that they won, because North Carolina could have been another state that, if the Democrats had won just North Carolina or Florida, this is all changing. And she would have won. Just those two states alone, if those had actually gone Democrat as people had expected, it would have changed the entire trajectory. So this is, the actual results are 50.5% to 46.8%. If we look at the polls here, or the likelihood of winning, again, 55.5% now versus 44.5%. So they were even more off than they were in Florida. So Clinton lost worst in North Carolina than she did in Florida, but she was more likely to win North Carolina. So again, polls were quite off that time. Ohio, obviously we know that Republicans won that. Pennsylvania is another state that Clinton was expected to win. 77% to 23%. Isn't that crazy? 77%. It was almost a guarantee that she would win. Now, if you look at it here, it's not hard blue, because hard blue would mean that it's nearly guaranteed. But this means it's really heavy leaning. This is most likely going Democrat. It'd be really surprising if it didn't. states like Florida and North Carolina, they wouldn't be really surprised if it had gone Republican. But this, Penn was supposed to go Democrat. Let's see what happened. Obviously, we do know what happened, and we know that they ended up losing. So, again, another close result. This was decided by, wow, like less than 50,000 votes. So, this one was even closer than any of the other states. But still, if you look at the percentage wise, Trump won by more percentage than you expect. It was 0.7% that he won by, which is about what 40 some odd thousand votes that he ended up getting more than Clinton, which put him on top. Again, that's another 20 electoral votes right there, and that's, well, at least it was 20 at that time. It's now 19 in 2024, but anyways, we're going based on that time. And again, that's another thing, like 77% chance of winning. But then you look at the actual thing, and it's like, she didn't really do as good as it was expected. She was supposed to win by a lot. Maybe not a blowout, but by a lot. Then we can move on to Michigan. Michigan is crazy. I mean, it's 78.9% to 21.1%. This was one of the states that were on the cusp of being a guarantee for Clinton. So she should have won that. It would have been really weird if she had lost it, but she did lose it. And remember, again, Michigan was 16 electoral votes at the time. It's now 15 at the time of recording, since we're in 2024. And Michigan was probably one of the closest ones. I mean, again, this was decided by, what was that, 11,000 votes? 11,000 votes decided Michigan. 0.3%. Okay, think about it. 0.3% vote of the percentage was the difference between Trump and Clinton. It was only 11,000 votes that decided this state. But then you look at this, and it's like, wait, so Clinton, so you're looking at this result, you would expect that Clinton would win by a comfortable amount, so a couple of hundred thousands. But we were completely wrong, and the media completely was wrong in this case, and the polls were completely wrong because they just didn't know what they were talking about. I mean, this is completely different from what we saw in the actual election. Then we got Wisconsin, another state that Trump actually ended up flipping and winning. And then again, look, 83.5% to 16.5%. This is another state. It's like once you're past 90%, it's like if you look at a California or Oregon or a Washington or like in New York, anything past 90%, pretty much on lock. This is 85%. This is almost 90%. Okay, this is like almost like a guarantee for Democrats. What happened on election day? Well, it was decided by about 20 some odd thousand votes, and it was 0.0 or 0.8% difference between Trump and Clinton. So again, another state where Clinton should have won pretty easily. And by the way, if you look at it this way, if you're looking at the map from the way that the polls were predicting, it seemed like a pretty decisive victory for Clinton. Like, this wouldn't even have been close. I mean, it just would have been really bad for Republicans, and they didn't really have any chance of winning. But they did. So, why did that happen? Well, there's a lot of reasons why this happened. Again, there's some other states that were pretty close, but none of them were really decisive. None of them were really unexpected. But then again, it doesn't really matter. Because you got to understand, everything that happens in terms of results, it all depends on election day. And I remember very well in 2016, the main reason why Donald Trump won was because the Republicans took the day off work and they came out to vote. Democrats thought, yeah, we got a big lead, we can win this, whatever. They won the popular vote, mainly because they had big states like California. They had a large amount of votes in Florida, even though they didn't win the state. They also had like New York and all those other states. All the northeastern states and California are the main reason why they had so many votes. But they still didn't win, because at the end of the day, your popular vote, you can have an overwhelming majority in one state, but it doesn't matter because that's just one state. And that'll still count as a lot for the popular vote, but the popular vote doesn't matter. This isn't how it works in the U.S. So again, the main reason why Republicans won was actually there's another reason as well. But the main reason was Republicans came out to vote, and the other reason was because Donald Trump was an outsider. People did not trust Hillary Clinton. And many Democrats also didn't trust Hillary Clinton. She was someone that is seen as an opportunist, isn't really trusted amongst people. She doesn't really relate to normal people. And Trump was sort of like this outsider, populist guy. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say whatever I want. The media was against him, and that's why people liked him. And the people liked the rhetoric that he was using. And he was very different from every other politician you see with the tie. They're all stiff. They're all, very uncomfortable around cameras. They say certain things because they don't want to get in trouble or whatever. But Trump was this guy who would say whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, and that's why he won ultimately. He won because he had the rhetoric, and he also won because Republicans came out to vote, and Democrats got cocky. Now, I'll be making another video on the 2020 polls versus results. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys think this could happen in 2024 as well? I don't know. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.